Coming up, Google Stores. Is going retail the smart business move for the search giant? How about Cash? Is it on its way out? Facebook is limiting teen exposure to graph search. Does it really matter? Exploding meteors, does that mean we're going to get more money for science research? I hope so. Blackberry Z10, is the launch success just a little overrated? And what about the PlayStation 4? We got rumors, and more rumors. All that and more on this episode of Downloaded. Hello and welcome to Downloaded. This is the show where we gather the most opinionated voices in the tech field today, focus all that energy on the stories impacting the tech world. I am your host, Jim Louderback. Really happy joining me today, Rob Enderle. Rob, old friend, president, principal analyst of the Enderle Group. Rob actually knows more about computer hardware and PCs and phones and tablets and everything that goes into them and all that than just about anybody I know, so it's really nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And sitting next to him, Max Scoville, who you guys should know if you watch Destructoid at all, Rev3 Games, host of that. And congratulations, Rev3 Games just passed 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, so that deserves a little bit of a congratulations.
Well, thank you.
100,000 subscribers on Rev3 Games, good
Cheers.
milestone. All right, so Rob and Max are here, and we're going to talk about some of the interesting stories out there. First one I want to start with, and this one's pretty interesting. Google has joined Microsoft and Apple with retail stores. Yes, that's right. They're going to be opening their own stores. This is actually a kiosk that you see right here in an airport, but they're going to go out and open their own stores. I'm really not sure why. Well, I know why they want to open stores. They've released a bunch of new products that apparently, I guess, Rob, people aren't buying, right?
Well, yeah, the problem is there's so many products from so many different vendors, all in carrier stores or Best Buys or whatever, and Google can't really push people to their products. So they're doing what Microsoft's done and Apple's done. They're going to try to open their own stores, and they're probably going to find out that retail is really hard.
Yeah, I mean, is this a good idea? Max, what do you think? Would you go to a Google store and buy something?
I not so much. You know, I think that Apple really, you know, that was their thing. That was it's like going inside a computer. It's this weird white space. You're in the Matrix. And then Microsoft kind of did it, and everyone's like, that's an Apple store. And then Google at this point, it feels kind of late to the party. And it is retail. They're the internet. Yeah. So why would they go into the real world to try and
do you think people would end up going to the Google store and search for things? Like, can you tell me where the food court is?
I think some people would kind of, yeah, that would make sense. I like that sort of you know, ottoman they had that looked like the Chrome logo.
Oh yeah, let me go back to that.
If they started selling furniture, I'd be interested. I'd like to have a Chrome-themed living room.
Come on, you'd put a Chrome thing in your living room?
I have dumber things in my living room.
Oh, you haven't seen my living room. But yeah, it would be. My living room is chrome, stainless steel, and purple.
And chrome. Okay, very interesting. Rob, how well? I have a couple of these Nexus devices because I happen to like them. The 7 and
they make a nice product.
Yeah, you think they're good?
Yeah, I mean, for the money, they're one of the best deals on the market. They do a nice job. They need to push the technology envelope now with the newer products. They're decent. So the question is, though, you know, I started off with a degree in retail, and it's really tough to do retail well. In fact, when you talk about the Microsoft stores and you've got them across from the Apple store, you typically see an Apple store full of people, and the Microsoft store looks like they just buried somebody because there's just nobody there, just the store personnel.
Well, Microsoft does not do stores well. I mean, let's face it. The Microsoft store is lame.
Well, they haven't learned store draw. I mean, they set up an entire lab to study placement, product, and the rest, but you have to be able to pull people through the store, and for whatever reason, the Microsoft managers missed that message. So when they do have something like Connect, they'll put it up in front. They have that whole thing where you bring in your phone and you could challenge the Microsoft phone. They put that in front, so people weren't pulled through the store and through the products. They just did whatever the hell it was out front and walked out of the store. So no sustainable store traffic. It was like they missed Retailing 101.
Right, and Rob, by the way, is not, I mean, he's not an anti-Microsoft guy. He actually has a Microsoft phone he carries around. So,
I do.
I don't know, I think the Apple store worked really well. Microsoft's store, not so much. A couple other companies had failed stores too, right? Nokia didn't do too well with their store.
Gateway was the catastrophic.
Gateway?
Remember that?
Yep.
Location. They didn't learn any one of those 3 words.
Yeah. Well, what about Samsung? Samsung had a store, Time Warner Center. Is it still there? Do you know?
I don't know. You know, and you mentioned Sony had a store as well. Sony did something different with
a bunch of stores.
With a store, and they were going to use it so you go and see the Sony products, and maybe you would go buy it someplace else because they charged extra in their store. Not convinced that was a great idea either. So retail hasn't proven to be very successful for any of the vendors. Dell had kiosks for a long time.
Dell had their kiosks, yeah. Well, somebody was positing that in fact this might be because they want to try and sell Google Glass. What do you think, Max? Google Glass? You gonna go to a store and put these little wraparound things on and look cool?
That could get really interesting very quickly. I think going back to the Microsoft Store, I think that they are going to suddenly have a little bit more interest once the new console comes out that they're sitting on currently.
The 720.
Yeah, the 720, the Durango,
or the
whatever they're going
Xbox.
to call it. The
Yeah, hold on.
Xbox.
Our last story of the day, we're going to talk about gaming consoles. And I'm really interested in. Okay, wait a minute. You got to show us your watch.
Okay.
What is this watch?
Okay.
Given that Apple now is rumored to be building a watch,
Okay.
I got to see what Max's watch looks
I sort of
like.
jumped the gun on that one. I bought the last gen Nano.
Okay.
Oh, and you got the strap for it.
I got the Lunatic case, but I didn't like the silicone strap they had, so I bought this amazingly. I don't want to use the word trashy exactly, but the word butt rock comes to mind. It says Nemesis, and it's got this kind of pre-weathered sort of leather thing going on. But it's
and that's a Nano there.
Yeah, it's a Nano.
So you actually have an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are such an innovator. That's
I
amazing.
I wanted a watch that Deckard would have in Blade Runner, you know.
Yeah.
Well, a ton of folks were doing that, and then they changed the design of the Nano, and you couldn't do it anymore. I thought Apple missed a meeting, but I guess the new Apple Watch will take the place again.
Maybe that's what they're doing. They want to get rid of the inventory of the old one.
If that was Bluetooth connected, it would be
100%.
so cool, you know. Even if they just you know, opened up the firmware so that people could make.
So I'm back.
Yeah, that wouldn't be Apple. That wouldn't.
Email. So of course,
Apple,
did they make an Android Nano that I could get? The Nexus 2.
There's probably a Zune one.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
So it's back on Google one last minute. Tim Cook said that Apple stores are the face of the company, which I thought was interesting. Does Google need to do stores because they're afraid that that new movie Internship is going to become the face of the company? Did you see the Internship trailer?
I didn't.
Okay, so it's a movie with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
Oh no.
And and they're actually selling watches, right? And they get fired, and they go and become interns at Google. It's
no kidding.
This summer, yeah.
And of course, it's a comedy, given who it is.
Oh yeah, it's going to be funny. Okay, well, I think the Google stores are going to be funny too, but not in that way. Let's go on to our next story. We're going to talk about is the end of cash near. Kind of a speculative story. BBC News today, actually based around a book that this guy from Wired is putting out. He says, look, there's a lot of things happening that's causing cash to maybe be less than useful, including, I love this, the penny in Canada is no more. Are we sad for the Canadian
No,
penny?
I won't miss it.
Why are we getting rid of the U.S. penny?
We have a hard time moving away from anything we've used for years. So it's, we still have dollar bills. That makes no sense to me. We got to have a dollar coin. Like anything else, with currency, the issue is there are a lot of people that can't get credit cards, that work hourly, that are illegals or whatever, and they can't use the cashless system. And until we solve all of that, we're going to be on cash.
Max, we have you on hourly here.
Yeah, you pay
Don't
what,
pay you
$5
much. You gave me a whole
and a
beer.
beer.
What do you
get a
think
beer.
about cash going away?
I'm excited that it's less likely that I'll get Canadian pennies in my change now.
There you go.
There's the
Or Canadian
I guess
quarters
is
what I get.
advantage,
There's
isn't
the
it?
copper lining, it's
There's the copper lining.
Do they use copper? Do they use some?
Not anymore. Copper's too expensive.
I got a picture of that penny up on screen right there. 1858 to 2013. Look at that. A death knell. Okay, so
They should put out commemorative nickels in honor of the penny.
would you buy one?
No, it's a nickel. How do you buy a nickel?
5 cents.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So what about, one of the people are saying that, cash is going away and we're all moving to Bitcoin. Does Bitcoin have any legitimacy in the market?
Well, I'm not using it yet.
I'm not using it. I mean, wasn't it a big scam? You put all your money in Bitcoin and then it
you-
all went up and then it went down. I mean, I think Bitcoin to me is like the penny stock of currency, right?
Quite literally.
Yeah. Okay,
Not Canadian penny stock, though.
No, not Canadian penny
That's right.
stock. There are no more Canadian penny
That's right.
stocks because there are no more
Canadian
pennies. Square, right? Square could be the end of currency. We're all going to use our little Square device to buy things.
Oh, NFC, that kind of
What
thing.
about NFC? Max, you must do that, right? Take your phone, use your phone, NFC, swipe it.
I don't do
pay.
that. That's weird. I use my phone for too many things already. I think. I make videos. I watch videos. I take pictures. I play games.
Yeah.
I
don't want it to be
write
your money.
letters. I read books. I just think that I still have a wallet. I just bought a wallet. I'm not ready to switch over the Google Wallet quite yet.
What if that wristwatch were a wallet?
If I could shoot
you
money
would
with
shoot pennies
lasers,
at people.
money lasers, just
Except Canadian
maybe
pennies.
then, yeah. No, I don't know. I'm kind of, I guess, resistant to that.
See, and you're the one who ought to be the leading edge of this.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly right.
I mean, I pay for everything with a card to begin with, but there still is that sort of leap from a sort of a physical officiated thing that was given to you that has a little hologram eagle on it and a magnetic strip that you don't quite know how it is.
Something about this stuff. I think it just feels good.
I mean, you can't make a rap video with bit. Good Lord, man!
It's a $50 bill.
What do you own? An internet company or something?
You like that? $50 bill. You know where I got this from?
No.
It was a gambling debt. Somebody paid me. I'm not going to say anymore.
All right.
But the beer you're drinking has something to do with it. That's all I'm going to say.
I still have the $100 bill I got from Jim Barksdale. Also a gambling debt. Yeah, also a gambling debt.
It's worth a lot less now. Depending on when you got it from Jim Barksdale. It could have been yesterday.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I think there's still a lot of those people who do resist giving gift cards. You know, there's something kind of, I don't think romantic is the right word, but there's a certain pageantry to money. It's got pictures of like cool old guys on it with like mustaches and stuff, and then you can put it in a card, and the card might be this boring Hallmark thing, but you open it up and you're like, oh, cool. $10 from grandma, all right, but it's, I don't know.
It is, another reason why cash shouldn't go away, and not that I would know this, but I've been told strip clubs would be less fun.
I'm glad you went there and I didn't.
God,
We're going to move on to this story about privacy now, from strip clubs to privacy. That's the kind of story flow you get here on Downloaded. Facebook, limiting graph search for teens, limiting searches for teens to friends of friends who are also teens. I don't know. Personally, when I saw this story, I'm like, it's irrelevant. I mean, nobody cares. Nobody checks up how old you are when you log into Facebook. My son is 13. One of his kids in his class, I know because I was checking yesterday, is 25. Not really, but Facebook thinks he's 25.
He was held back a long while.
What?
He was held back a long while.
Yeah, held back a long time. So I think, Max, Facebook, I mean, I just don't get this whole, I don't even think they get privacy, right?
No. Of course not. No, it's what if there was one big yearbook for everybody and you could go through and be like, that guy sucks.
Hot,
that guy,
hot,
yeah,
hot,
exactly.
hot.
Well, what do they sell? I mean, they're selling access. Right. So you have a company that's selling access. It's going to be kind of counterintuitive that they're going to be any good at privacy.
But not to kids. They want to protect the children.
No, they just want to look like they're protecting children.
Yeah, I think that's it. Does this solve anything?
No.
No.
So you've got a 13-year-old who's on Facebook.
All of his friends were on Facebook, and I told him he couldn't go on Facebook until he turned 13, which is supposedly the minimum age that you can go on Facebook. All of his friends have been on Facebook for years.
I love that you were parenting according to the terms of service. You were holding true to those rules.
You know what? Well, okay, so here's the thing. He really didn't want to go on that badly because I let him go on Xbox Live. And Xbox Live is another one. I cut the rules back on Xbox Live to, I got to approve his friends and everything.
Which was scaring him more? Was it the racial epithets being hurled at him, or was it people thinking he was a girl and just being way too nice?
He wasn't scared at all. The thing is, he came back to me and said, look, all my friends can do whatever they want. They can play every game they want. They can friend anybody they want. And I can't talk to anybody. And I said, yeah, so. But Xbox,
he's got it good, yeah.
It's the same thing with Xbox Live. They put in these restrictions. They claim to save the teens, but parents just overrule them, right?
Yeah. Well, you got to go around the parents.
Yeah, right.
So it's the same thing. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't do that. When I was young, our game systems were knobs and a ball and holes. We couldn't talk to anybody.
Hoop and stick, and we didn't have to buy another one for
we had
25
a rock,
years.
And we were lucky we had a rock.
The worst part about it is we would play, and then I would play, and he'd be like, how come you're allowed to get friends and I'm not? And I'm like, because I'm older than you.
A little bit older, yeah.
That is the thing that scares me the most about the prospect of parenting is how did you do the internet with the kids? Because I was one of those kids who was just like, my mom has no idea how to use that machine. I will use that machine for the things that she doesn't want me to do. And
yeah, that's often
now I play video games for a living.
Yeah,
sorry, Mom.
What?
Hey, but you get paid for it.
You make a living out of it.
I guess I screwed up somewhere along the line.
No, come on, it worked out. Rob, does Facebook even understand the privacy problems it has, or does it understand and it just is sort of putting a thin veneer over it to make people think that they're doing something?
Privacy and their revenue model, much like Google, sort of cross purposes. So the more information they provide about you to others or to advertisers, the more money they make. So their economic model works against privacy. It's the nature of that particular model. It would be much better if we paid for the service, then they'd be motivated to keep our privacy. But with anything you're getting for free, you're really paying for it with information about you in some way, shape, or form. And once we wrap our own heads around that, then we'll be better protected. I think if Facebook's ever going to do it, it's
you got to do it yourself.
You got to do it yourself.
Max, how are your Facebook settings set up? Are you open to everybody and everything?
Once I started getting, parents' friends commenting on things that I did, it just started getting weird. So now my privacy settings are I just don't really post anything on there, and I just kind of chalk everything else that's embarrassing up to college.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was a period when it was like, oh, this is the cool college party. This is where all the young hip kids are, and we're all hanging out, and there's a photo of me with beer. Like, oh, look at me. And then everyone's parents got on there, and now it's sort of like a graduation party where, your friends are there, and your one friend shows up with a handle of tequila, and he's like, yeah! And then he sees that somebody's aunt is also there, and he's like, sorry.
All right, we got Max's Facebook page up here. Here we go. Let's see.
Yeah, all I use it for is posting cute pictures on my girlfriend's wall.
I want to go back to college here.
Oh God. Yeah, seriously. You want to see me with long hair?
Oh, wait, here we go. 2006.
Going way back. The Wayback Machine.
That's the Wayback Machine.
Uh-oh.
Max is certainly up. Oh, Max! I don't even know what that is. I don't want to know what that is. This is scaring me. We're going to move on to our next story, which is somewhat less scary than that picture.
So Facebook
it's an asteroid that almost hit the Earth.
I wish we could get one of those right now.
I am so glad Facebook wasn't invented when I was in college.
Oh, privacy is nothing. So yeah, did you guys hear about this asteroid?
Yeah, I saw all kinds of video on it.
Yeah, so I mean, look, everyone knows about this story, right? We had this asteroid that whizzed past the Earth on Friday. It was this, but another one the night before, basically, what did it do? Let's move up here. It basically
hit the atmosphere and exploded.
There we go. It hit the atmosphere and exploded. There's
Blew
a
out a lot of windows,
which I'm going to run. Yeah, and look, it didn't actually hit the Earth. It exploded.
In the air. Yeah.
Stats for you here. Okay, 1,000 people injured, mostly by flying glass. It was the size of a bus.
Yeah.
7,000 tons.
Yeah.
Which is 1/20th of the one that just whizzed by the Earth.
Yeah.
And the power of 20 atom bombs. I mean, that's
pretty impressive. Yeah, Lifeboat Foundation just went vertical right after that happened in terms of anti-asteroid defense systems. So it's been actually good. It's opened up discussions with the DoD again with regard to putting up some kind of a space defense.
Well, I think it's I mean, look, Max, do you think this is going to lead to more investment in the science of deflecting asteroids?
I kind of hope so.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that. I mean, even if it just is the space program. And we have sort of an ETA for a giant asteroid, and we're like, well, let's maybe just get on our space bus and go to.
What are we going to do, though? We see an asteroid. How do we make it not intersect with the Earth? Bombs?
Yeah, pretty much. You blow it off trajectory. You hit it far enough back, and you can angle it away from the planet.
Thinking about these two, they say these two asteroids are unrelated. I'm not sure I buy it.
They're probably cousins or something,
pretty darn close. Yeah, they're cousins. They're kissing cousins.
So the problem we've got, though, is the asteroid that exploded is too small to detect. So they didn't see that until actually entered the atmosphere. And you're talking about, atomic bomb energy, and yet you can't see it until it's too late to do something about. That bothers me a bit.
How about you? Are you?
So I was about 10 seconds away from sleep last night, and my girlfriend was reading Twitter on her phone, and she goes, "Huh? So an asteroid hit Russia." Hard enough to make a 6.5 on the Richter scale, and I'm already terrified of earthquakes. Asteroids weren't even a thing that I was sort of thinking about.
And that one, it didn't hit the ground, it did that.
Right.
Airburst.
So I just basically got really angry and then went to sleep and had horrible dreams.
But you were able to sleep, though.
Yeah, I was tired. But,
Yeah, you didn't stay awake, worried about asteroids.
But I will tonight, now that I've had some time to mull it over.
But did you watch the Russians in the video? It was kind of like, huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
What I like about this is we actually learned why so many Russians have dashboard cameras. It's the whole insurance thing.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. That is
So explain it to me. Explain the whole insurance thing. Why?
Everybody knows that every Russian has a dashboard camera, and apparently the reason for that is that the insurance there, you have to have genuine proof that you were not liable.
Exactly right. Otherwise they just yell at each other.
Apparently there's a lot of insurance fraud, too. I mean, let's be real here, right?
A common sort of conflict, negotiation method in Russia is to get out of your car and
beat the
fight
crap
somebody.
out of the guy, yeah.
So it's sort of good to have a,
If you want to have some fun, just look on YouTube under crazy Russian drivers. The stuff I spend hours just watching some of those clips.
So what happens when, like, we are all going to have cameras eventually, right? Because we're going to not.
In fact, CES, they had an entire section just for dashboard DVR. Some great stuff coming out of China.
So you talk about privacy with Facebook, where it's just, Max's crazy pictures from college that are still there. But what happens when we all have cameras and we're all recording every aspect of our lives and other people's lives too? I think.
Have you actually looked at how many cameras are out there on the streets now?
Yeah,
most everything we're doing has been recorded.
Right,
now we've got personal drones. They've got city drones. They've got, of course, military drones have been there for a while, but a lot of municipalities have been flying drones now for a while. And of course, we've got the AR drone stuff. We've got another series of companies developing drones for you to fly around and kind of watch your neighbors, just for security reasons, of course, not because you've got a cute neighbor. And yes, I don't think there's going to be anything that's private.
So we're going to have all kinds of videos about ourselves that are crazy. And when something like this happens, these pictures are amazing, aren't they? When something like this happens, we're all going to know about it instantly. It's all going to be up on YouTube.
So practice your blasé. Oh yeah, Asteroid. I see that all the time.
Yeah, right. That's
big deal.
Asteroid hipsters. I read a great article in Wired recently about counter surveillance fashion, and it was sort of this one artist in New York is doing sort of different kind of like mylar kind of babushka, the scarf.
It's almost like an electromagnetic shroud, right?
Yeah, a little bit, and then also
probably better than the aluminum hats.
Yeah. It's sort of a reasonable expansion on that. Also, just asymmetrical makeup and hairstyles, so that it jams facial recognition. And then there was a really good one that was a clutch that could be for celebrities or for whoever else that has a light sensor. So the second a flash of a camera goes off, it does a sort of counter set of LEDs that's actually faster than the flash, CCD in the camera is.
So it overexposes the film or the digital image.
The photo is just a giant. I mean,
we're going to have to put those on the front of our cars for the traffic cameras.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, how long before someone figures that out? But that was
they've had license covers that are refractive, so that when you go through the light. It's basically a polarized filter. So from the angle of the camera, it just gets a gray.
You know what I do? I just don't put the license plate on the front of my car.
It's a ticket if you get caught. My car didn't have that either.
I've been caught before.
Yeah. They make a gadget where the plate actually, I haven't put it on my car yet, it actually motors up under the car and you hit a button and it motors back down underneath the car.
Oh, that's good.
So if you see a police officer, you can motor it up. Look on the web for it. It's about $120.
All right, speaking of another gadget that used to be big and not so sure it is anymore, let's talk about the Blackberry. Blackberry 10, what'd they say over there? They said the best of any of its handset debuts in Canada and the UK.
I actually flew to New York for that.
For the launch. So they're claiming it's great. Recent survey talked to a couple of stores and other people and found that there's inventory. Rob, how well is this Blackberry really doing?
Well, it's only in Canada right now. We don't have it in the States.
Right.
So it's at Canada release.
And the UK apparently.
Yeah. But the big push is in Canada. They did that first. And it's it's basically an iPhone-like form factor, nice display, much more secure, of course, than either Android or iOS is, because that's kind of their thing.
That's their thing.
The light on apps, as you would think, because it's a new role on the product. Pretty heavily supported, though, by business. SAP supported it, BMC supported it. They've all got apps that surround the phone. So for business, it's pretty good. So if you need security, if you're in government, pharma, one of those areas where security is high, it might be an alternative for you to something else. But you are going to give up on app depth. Yeah, on the other hand, Alicia Keys is probably the best looking of the advocates out there right now.
So you've seen it and played with it.
I have. Actually, my wife is. She's not carrying it right now. It's back home getting set up for her. But yeah, it's. She'll be carrying that one next week.
You didn't want to carry it? You're going to foist it off on your wife?
Well, actually, she broke her phone, so I'm going to let her do it until we decide what new phone we're going to get for her.
BlackBerry gaming platform, not gaming platform, Max? What do you think?
No. Unless you like Brickout or Calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a BlackBerry for a while when I first started doing gaming stuff, just because it was what I had, and I love the physical buttons, and I feel like that was for the longest time their kind of strongest point, and now they don't have that, and it's.
So they do, and if you try it, it's probably the best screen keyboard you're ever going to touch.
Really?
It's the best one you're going to. They actually did a nice job on the keyboard, but I'm with you. I kind of miss the buttons.
Yeah.
I mean,
they have one. The Q has physical buttons. It's the Z that doesn't.
That's right. But there's the Z one that's got the big screen that you can actually touch.
It's like the iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's like without buttons, it's like, why have it? It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup without peanut butter. So what do you think, BlackBerry? Chance to retain relevance or regain it with this phone, Max?
I think it's kind of just joining the herd, you know. I mean, they changed their name from Research in Motion to just Blackberry, so they've just turned into a fruit. You know, they're joining the
The Apple
they made
crowd.
an iPhone, and then they are now just how long before it just has a little picture of a Blackberry on the back.
Yeah, true. What do you think,
Well,
Rob?
kinda
Chance
does
to do it or
look
not?
picture of the Mac. I think it's given the problems with security. I think they've got a shot in segments. Government, pharma, certain businesses that have that security concern. I think they'll drive it back in. They'll never be a competitor for the iPhone head-to-head in consumer side, but in business where security is important, I think they've got enough of an edge to come back. They're really the only ones playing the security game.
Playing that security
hard.
game, yeah. Still, they're not going to be as big a company as they were, right?
No, they fell off too far.
Who's going to buy them? Oh, go ahead.
Well, they were
Max.
talking about the strong start in Canada, but then there was the fact that like a week before, Home Depot switched all their company phones. It was like 10,000 phones or something to iPhone. So that's, you know.
All right, so let's play the acquisition game. Who's going to buy them?
Well, watch Dell going private.
I was going to.
So the Dell's going private for a reason, and one of those reasons I think is to be able to do a big acquisition without a lot of stock market scrutiny.
How's that Dell thing going? There was a little bit of
Pretty good. The last word is a couple of the big investors want more money. Not unusual because they got Dell over a barrel. Michael Dell reduced the value of his own stock, so they got more money. We'll see if that goes. But Microsoft and Michael Dell are very serious about making this happen. And if they do, it's going to be the biggest move like this since the market crashed.
Yeah, I think it'll be a big. Well, but although today, what happened? Heinz, right? Or yesterday?
Heinz just got bought.
Heinz just got bought by Berkshire.
Berkshire Hathaway, yeah, I saw
bought
that.
Heinz, which is huge.
It's massive.
So it looks like the dinosaurs are mating again. It's not necessarily a bad thing
Yeah, as
for our
long as
economy.
you don't have a visual.
Speaking of dinosaurs that are coming back from
You guys
the
just went way
oil
over my
cesspit,
head.
Yeah.
let's move on to our little gaming boxes here,
Oh
Max.
yeah, they're making some new game boxes.
Some
for the
PS4
kids.
thing rumored to happen next week, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Tell me about that. Are you going to New York?
I'm not going to New York. We're sending Adam Sessler because he's better under high pressure situations. I'm like a like a pedigree dog. I just kind of get
Like
really
going to New York in the
overexcited.
winter.
Yeah.
So you're not
Well,
an
yeah, this is-
Alpenfuser or whatever that thing is that won the Westminster Dog Show?
Oh man. So yeah, he's we're gonna be seeing the big reveal. Sony sent out this thing and they said we come see the future, and they don't really do that a whole lot. They don't have big events unless they're pretty much revealing things. I don't.
Hope they do it right, man,
Yeah.
because they haven't seen profit, I think, in most of the last decade.
Yeah, they've had kind of a rough time.
Issues.
We're hearing some really good sounding rumors though about the PlayStation 4 or the Orbis as it might be called.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think is just
The Orbis?
Orbis was a word that was getting thrown around.
Orbis.
Orbis.
Too
Orbis.
close, too
It's not
close
the
to
guys who go, yeah, the guys
too
who do
close
the
to
fly fishing, right?
Orifice for me.
Orifice. See, I was thinking Orvis, the
That'd be
fly
good.
fisher
Fly
guys.
fishing, yeah.
Okay, the
go either way,
Orifice.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sony Orifice.
Yeah. Rumors we've heard, the whole See the Future thing, it's rumored it's going to have sort of the PlayStation iToy / their version of the Kinect that is part of it. There was this leaked photo of the new controller, the early prototype that showed up that has sort of a blue light thing on the top, which is kind of like the motion control bauble. And I think there was a patent that showed up of some various ideas for controllers that would have the ball on it, so that they don't have to sell separate motion controllers.
Right.
It's also got the sort of touchpad in the center, allegedly, and it's their first new controller, I think, since first really new design-wise since
motion.
I hate their controllers anyway. I mean,
Really?
I just don't like PS.
I'm the only person who likes
don't.
them.
They don't fit in my hands
No,
well.
I
like that
never
they're
learned how to
light.
use
The
them very
Xbox
well.
ones just fit my hands better.
I guess I've literally grown up with them. When I first picked up a PlayStation controller, my hands were probably half the
'cause you grew up
size.
with
and
it, yeah.
Now it's
And they're
just
probably better for smaller hands.
yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
Your hands aren't really
dainty
small.
ladylike fingers.
So,
But
so Adam Sessler works well under pressure. Going there, I just had a picture.
He's
of,
gonna check that out.
So check
Apparently
this picture
the,
out. This is Adam Sessler going to the Xbox.
There we
because
go, yeah.
He has
can
actually
win. That's the winner of the Westminster Dog Show.
Well,
by
no
the
wonder
way.
he's going there. He's going to handle the cold really well.
that is
Yeah.
the opposite of a picture of him. He has
I know.
No
he
hair.
has no hair.
Almost looks like
that
a
dog has
Wookiee.
lots of hair.
but
all right, well, anyway, let's go back to the PS4.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So one thing they've been stressing, aside from the wacky hardware gimmicks and stuff like that, is that some rumors have said that they have a much more developer-friendly architecture,
Okay.
and that the problem with the PS3 is that
it was really hard to develop with.
horrible
to
develop
for,
with.
yeah.
someone explained it to me once as having
cell
That
processor,
cell,
right?
cell
Yeah.
processor was, I mean, even in IBM, that was just a horrible thing to develop for.
yeah.
Someone said it had what?
It was something like having like the 360 is essentially a PC. You know, it's a computer. It's the thing you're making the things on. You just kind of.
It is. It's an x86 machine.
Yeah. And then the PS3, they were like, it's sort of like if you had. I think they said it was like if you had, as opposed to one really smart guy, if you had like 8 sort of autistic people in the room together, and they're all really smart, but it's like one particular thing, and you kind of have to divide the work up amongst them.
And they don't talk to each other very well.
Exactly. Yeah. Communication problems.
Rob, what's your take on the PS4? You think it's going to catapult them to the next level?
Well, you know, if this was old Sony, you could certainly say that. I'm not convinced. They've been off their game for so long. The PS3 was such a complete disaster. Yeah. And now they don't have a lot of money to market it. I mean, they've been out of profit for so long. I actually like the stuff I'm hearing out of Panasonic better than I like the stuff coming out of Sony, because Panasonic's getting rid of all of their extraneous stuff. They're trying to focus on all the businesses that are making money, getting rid of all the stuff they're not. Sony needs to do the same thing, so they've got enough money to take a system like this and really push it through the process.
Drive it. Yeah.
But if they're really being drained by so many of their businesses that just aren't doing well, they just won't put the money behind this, regardless of the technology that'll make it truly successful. I mean, you really have to fund a game system. With people moving to phones, well, the games and tablets, it's not like the game developers have a lot of extra bandwidth to support 3 game systems. They may pick one.
Yeah, I agree, and it's not going to be the Wii U.
Yeah, no, geez.
That's the thing is, I think that the PS4 might actually succeed because Nintendo has, they released a current gen system about a year before next gen happened, I think that Sony's...
It's HD, finally!
Wow.
Yay!
Oh, boy, I know. Yeah.
So someone at Microsoft warned that they could alienate the gamer audience by doing the big reveal so far ahead of actually releasing it. Do you buy that crap?
No, not at all.
Sorry with the leading question, but...
Exactly.
They'll shut down PS3 sales. I mean, the thing is, that's the problem. When you announce way in advance of availability, you basically shut down sales of whatever else you got.
But we all know it's coming anyway. Let's be serious. Like, I have an Xbox 360 and it's on its last legs. One of the original ones. I should get a new Xbox 360. Like, this one's loud. It's already had the red ring of death probably 3 times.
I'm in the same boat.
I should buy a new one, but I'm not going to buy a new one.
Not to the new
because I know the 720 or whatever they're calling it.
I think a lot of people have gotten. I think they've gotten smart, and that there's at least in the gamer culture, is people who've been gaming for 20 years they're adults now, and they're kind of thinking a little bit less excitedly. And there's that kind of like, maybe I don't want to be an early adopter necessarily. Maybe I don't want to just jump on board. Maybe I want to wait and see if this is a machine that can have a red ring of death or a blue light of death or whatever it is.
You wouldn't want to get the first one on any of these things anyway.
Exactly.
You're right. They're going to have issues.
So don't buy one this Christmas.
Well, none of it. Don't.
At least not for the first month.
You're going to buy it.
Job security.
You're going to get one early on. Come on.
Yeah. Well, but it's going to be curious. There's also the issue of backwards compatibility, and there are some huge games. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Right. Some things might not be backwards compatible, right?
I don't know how you're going to do compatibility with that cell processor. It's really very different than anything else. Yeah. I mean, you could do an emulation layer, but you're probably going to take a pretty big hit. Now, I recognize these things are about 10 years old, so performance has moved a lot over 10 years. That might be enough, but we'll see.
At the same time, this is also the first generation of hardware we've seen where downloadable games are a thing, and suddenly.
Well, you hope they made that mating, don't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact is,
Blu-ray guys. You kind of wonder.
Exactly, the Blu-ray guys.
I mean, it's. I think that Sony's got the internet thing. I think they're kind of late to the party, but they're doing it a little bit better than Microsoft is right now. I don't like my 360 as much since they changed the dashboard and they're doing that whole kind of Windows 8 tile thing. There are ads on a service that I pay for, whereas Sony. Is free to play online. It's free to get access to Netflix and stuff with it. And if you do pay, you get free access to games. PlayStation Plus is kind of quietly overtaking Xbox Gold as a thing that I feel much better about
Interesting.
paying for.
Any good game rumors? Any good ideas of new launch games or titles that we're going to be all excited about? We'll have to play.
Yeah. Well, there's Bungie's next thing, which is Destiny, which we don't know anything about.
Is that for the PS4 only?
I really doubt it.
Yeah,
that's probably going to be.
It's Bungie. You got to figure they're at least going to do Xbox.
And
who knows? Maybe they're mad at Microsoft.
Who knows? Surprise me,
no, it's completely up in the air, and it's pretty interesting. If you look at the game release schedule for 2013, it just kind of stops.
Yeah, right.
You've got a couple blips along the line, but there's this gray area, like just quite literally just a gray area where there's just nothing going on, and it's gonna. once things start getting revealed, it's going to be really
Okay,
interesting.
have you got any juicy rumors about the Xbox 720 before we wrap up this episode?
Or the next box?
The next box? Is that what they're going to call it?
Well, it's the
The orifice of the next box? Oh, next.
So the next box instead of the name, whatever they're going to call it. But
right.
720 was
Word on the street is they're just going to call it the Xbox.
Okay.
They're going to take a cue from Apple and they're going to kind of simplify things and just
would
call
make
it
sense.
Xbox, which I think Nintendo really missed a good opportunity to call the Wii either the Nintendo, which was being kicked around for a while, or the Super Wii, which apparently is being used in some Japanese marketing, actually officially.
That would have been a good name.
But that's their biggest problem.
They had Super Nintendo for a while, so way back when.
And that's, I mean, people still understand it when something is super, it is an improvement over the previous version.
The problem is that he iterated. So it's Super Wii U Ultra next?
No, the son of the Super Wii.
Son of the,
And the return of the son of the Super Wii.
Yeah, it's
and the daughter of the bride of the return of the son of the Super Wii. That is all for our downloaded today. I want to thank Rob Enderle for coming in.
Pleasure. Max
Scoville for jumping out of Detroit and spending some time with us. And I want to thank you for watching as well. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, you want to talk about your favorite rumors for the PS4 or the 360, 720, whatever it is, post them down there. We'll talk about them. We'll see what they come up with. Make sure you stay tuned to Destructoid next week as we find out what that PS4 thing really is all about. And until next time, you have been watching Downloaded. Level 1.